Yeah, so this round coming up is 21 APH, which is a relatively fast round, I believe, Pete, for the FS. You know, not too dissimilar to the VFS for the stronger teams that were flying, but definitely a fast round.
Absolutely. This is a round that we would call All-American again. There's no slot switching. Didn't mean to be racist on that or country dominate, but it's just everything straightforward about it.
Yeah.
You've got a difficult, you're not going to find too many different choices in engineering. Pretty straightforward block. 21 is what we call the industry standard block for learning how to fly pieces together. So we're looking at a real 1-2, something that we notice even on the VFS, the same technique coming through.
I'm really loving watching the Vosvin girls' 21s. They've been really working on them. And it's nice to see. And they've got some real, like, you know, from the end of the 21, you can really lock down that random sequence that follows as well, the APH.
Yeah, very nice, real deep verticals. Sometimes that can affect the team at the end of the block.
Yeah.
These girls seem to be dealing with it, as
exactly.
you say, really nicely. Yeah.
Every close was there. They'll be really pleased with that round.
Yeah, there's some big smiles on the girls' faces as they come out the door. I think after 5 rounds this morning, teams are starting to find their rhythm a little bit, especially those teams that started with a little bit of nerves out the gate. You know, round 5 comes on, you know you got lunch after this.
Exactly.
You can actually relax a little bit.
Exactly. And as we said in the beginning, starting with the slower round or a nice steady round for round 1 really set the pace. And then ramping it up now for rounds 4 and 5 is really good.
Current leaders, female FS NFTO, Jules joining the team this year now, hopefully for the rest of the season.
Exactly. This is a classic outside centre having to sit still routine here in this sequence. You can see that it's really hard as an outside centre, I've been in the past as well, to sit there, be solid and, you know, and watch the team around you. You're so used to doing the bigger moves and this is really good to see.
Yep.
Jules doing it really well.
Tough move, I think, something that, you know, 21 to A, keeping your hips under control. Pretty interesting for an outside centre. If you watch Jules there, really tough because you've got to watch the end of the 21 now. Jules in the blue, her and Tail have to hook up to build the A. They seem pretty stoked with that.
That was
end
a great round.
Hey girls, it's not over yet. You got 5 more rounds. Just reminding you.
That is really nice to see NFTO like out the blocks from the very first round. They're doing a really good job.
And confidence as well. Something British teams suffer from sometimes. It's a bit of a lack of confidence. And the girls are showing the boys how to do that with confidence. Something that we need to learn.
Exactly, yeah, very much so. Here we go with Wimby, Nephthys Wimby.
Yeah, so Nephthys, it's from an ancient Egyptian goddess, the name, and basically an all-powerful goddess.
Yeah.
Good teammate.
When I first saw these girls, with the 3 girls, and obviously not with Pam in the team at the time, I think their first competition was in Bahrain. I think they did a lineup there. And then watching their progression over the last 2 years has just been really good. They're growing, and the fact that they're drawing in, like, you know, some ex-champions into the squad as well. They have that pool. It's great to see.
Yeah, the French pool is phenomenal. There is no real other pool that has a country that has such a rich pool of talent as the French. They've always supported their national teams. They've had some interesting times in the last couple of years. Let's hope they've managed to fix that now and start to go with a clear direction and a good solid score on the projected score anyway. It's actually a real nice, clean looking round, Ray.
That's the best score I've seen from best round I've seen from them.
For these girls,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we have some completed results for the Open FS. Let's have a look at those.
Beautiful. This is what we're looking for. So the leaderboard looks a little strange because, of course, we're still waiting for some scores to come in from various teams. But just looking down, we've got 31s from Out of the Blue and Oceanside Atomics, 27, Windoor, Austria, Papaya 29.
I mean, just to remind everybody at home, round 4 was a particularly fast round. We were touching the 40s from the projected scores from the top teams. So we are seeing some good scores here. We're seeing the battle again in the middle, so from Out of the Blue, Atomic X, who Oceanside Atomics have had an up and down meet so far, but definitely had a stronger round in round 4. And we're just seeing that across the board, really.
Well, we're going back to the action now, live down at the tunnel for the Wing Games round 5 of the FS Open with commentary from Ray Ahmed and Pete Allen.
Yeah, so no change between any of the actual jumps, any of the sequences, whether it's VFS, FS female or FS open. They're all doing the same numbers, but in FS, it's exactly the same skydives, whether you're in the female event or in the open event, so you can measure yourself in between the categories, which is always really important as far as I'm concerned, to see where the teams are laying. So real fly fire, flying with fire, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think their confidence has grown. They've also had some ups and downs, I think, through the round. They had a couple of glitches. I think I had a glitch on the last round, but they're finding their feet. I think the one with the slot switcher.
Struggle with that.
Yeah.
So the nature of this round is pretty straightforward. The only thing they ran into there was a little bit, the point got caught up against the glass on the A, which made a little bit of a struggle, but subsequent pages seem to be doing pretty nicely. And 28 is a projected score for the team from Sion, and real fly over there.
It's good to see. That's a nice round for them.
Yeah, I'd say one of their better rounds, right?
They look pleased as well.
Okay, there's Robertino in the door. Good to see the staff here. Amazing staff here at Windoor. I feel so fortunate to call this place my home. And yeah, just the staff, the facility, fantastic competition once a year as well. Thank you very much.
So every time I come back here to train, I just feel like everybody says hello, it's nice, high fives in and out of the tunnel. It's like a family.
Coffee's pretty good too, huh?
Yeah, cortados, great.
All right, Windoor Angels, Spanish national team, a team from Spain from last year as well. Seeing them here this year, having a better meet this year.
Yep.
Looking pretty solid, looking pretty together. This round should be no different from the style of it. So far, everything's looking pretty solid. Again, we're not seeing too much difference in engineering. Maybe grip separation there.
Yes.
You know, there is a little bit of issue. The point flyer from the 8 to the 21, similar area for the grips on the A there as well. If I was a judge, Ray, I'd be looking at that area, I think.
The thing is, it's nice to see is the 21s as well. I mean, I guess like 21 is very early in the dive pool, so the teams should be very experienced with this as well.
Yep.
You know, you learn your block 21 quite early on, and it shows here as well with the random sequence that follows that most of the teams here that are competing, even if they're new in their forming stage, that they'll be comfortable with this dive.
Yeah, and this team looks super happy coming out the tunnel there, Ray. The Windoor Angels team from Madrid look very happy with that. And now we're seeing a team from Lithuania, Equinox. They've done quite a bit of training here since they showed up a couple of days ago. Let's see how well they've got used to the environment.
They're doing a good job, I think.
Steady, right?
Yeah.
Steady round for these guys.
Exactly.
So far, so good. Not looking anything untoward. Maybe levels on that last 21 close being a bit of an issue.
Sorry, Pete.
Oh no, just as you're about to close the 21, if the levels aren't fixed, you're going to be struggling.
Exactly.
So they seem to have learned that for that next page.
I think it's one of those things, isn't it? It's the form of the competition as well. You're surrounded by so many very, very good competitors, like champions, ex-world champions in all the different teams, that sometimes the whole event, because it's an indoor competition as well, you're seeing, watching all the flying, that you can forget sometimes that, you know, you're in a forming stage, you're building your team, you know, it's going to take you time to get there. And, you know, we're seeing that from these teams, but they're coming out with smiles on their faces, they're pleased, they all have their own goals for this meet, which is great to see.
Absolutely, and technique-wise on the 21, you saw some of the teams with like the Vosvin girls, a very deep vertical. The team that we just saw from Lithuania, not quite as deep and almost two-dimensional. No issues, just different techniques, way to fly the block, slightly different from team to team.
Some of the scores for round 4 are coming through. Just quickly, I think Wimby Unicorn scored a 42.
42? Oh my God, awesome.
It's amazing to see. And Echo Chamber on 37, so.
Wow, that's some impressive scores there.
Exactly.
Very nice Wimby Unicorns, really pleased for Federico, his first outing with the team. Good job, guys.
It did look like a nice round though. We saw from the end of the 5, I think, as they came round, you said there's a lot of flow there.
So team standby, struggling a little bit with this relatively straightforward round. Just letting go of grips at the end of that 21, just caught out the corner of my eye. Everything else not looking too bad. And welcome to Bruno, who's just in the house.
Hey.
All right, super deep vertical there, but they managed to just about squeeze away with it.
Yeah.
It's out of time, who cares? 35 seconds are done and dusted.
And they are done for the day.
That's it, guys. Go and have some lunch and watch the rest of the competition finish their round 5.
Exactly. So next in, we have 3 boys and a girl.
Which aren't exactly 3 boys and a girl, as we pointed out to you before. Thomas filling in. Let's get a bit of a history of that. I'll do a bit of research. You've got some flying to do, Ray, after this this commentating gig that you're on right now. While that's happening, I'll find out what's going on with this team and their missing girl.
Yeah, definitely.
So 21 APH.
Again, they're very deliberate in the close of these 21s as well. I mean, especially if you have, I said at the beginning, you say 21s as a standard block, but you know, if you have a team that's mixing up techniques slightly, you know, you can always have some, you won't necessarily have the synchronicity on the start and the close of block 21, which makes it sticky for the random sequence that follows. And we saw that in the first couple of pages, but they seem to have locked it down now.
Yeah, when you mean you have a new element joining the
yes,
team.
that's right.
Yeah, so you got one new person, even if they're a world champion, and we just saw that on a 21.
Yeah, exactly.
Fortunately out of time, otherwise that would have been a bust.
Yeah.
Just to explain the whole busting element to those of you not that au fait with the rules of FS, you're given a distinct way to move from one part of the block to the other part of the block. If that means holding the side body grip, as you just saw in the 21, you can't let go of it. You've got to hold on to those grips the whole way through the block. Otherwise, you're going to get a penalty or a bust, as we call it.
That's your team coming into the tunnel now. Blue Steel.
Blue Steel, let's see how they go. Obviously, you know, when you're watching a team, there's not a lot you can do for them at this stage as a coach. A little bit of nerves. It's great. I'm really enjoying watching these guys.
They had a really good round 4. They got 29.
29, which I know they'll be really happy with.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can keep some synchronicity going here.
Sergi.
APH random page, which is something that is every team is going to be looking for. Is the block. It's going to take an X amount of time. You want to be consistent with it. But now comes the random sprint.
I know.
And that's something that we've been working on with this with the team, is not leaving those points on the ground. Is really working the random sprint.
Exactly.
Close with little energy and bam, blast through that with flow, synchronously, getting off and on.
Just hearing you speak, I feel like I'm back in one of the huts outside, Pete. He's telling me this exact same story.
I think those guys will be pretty happy with that. I
That's
mean,
brilliant.
you know, they're not looking for any medal positions. They're going to be looking for a similar team at a similar level that they can compete with through the competition.
I think it's also one of those teams with personal goals, right? It's your team, so you should probably know this a bit better than I do.
Still seeing some of the scores coming through from round 4. Blue Steel, as you said, 29, super happy with that.
In the tunnel now, we have Windoor Black Mantis.
Yeah, they're looking good, huh?
They are, very much so.
We're quite enjoying watching this team.
They scored 27 also on round 4.
Okay, block techniques, everything pretty straightforward. Again, that random sprint, every team is going to be taking advantage of it. You'll notice it even more as the top 4 or 5 teams come through that tunnel door.
Yeah.
There's a very big difference. Ray has mentioned about in VFS how sometimes the blocks can be the quicker sequences that are drawn. On the FS, it's generally the random sequence.
Yeah, that's right.
You get 3 or 4 randoms together. That's where the judges have to start firing the points quicker. They've got to look for stuff. It's where teams really need to capitalize on the random sprint. And we're seeing the Black Mantis from Windoor Vienna doing a really nice job.
Really nice, solid foundation to this team.
Yeah.
I mean, they've really bettered it down, so you know that they can just take it forward from here. You know, they can speed up slowly in their own time, but they've got a really good foundation.
Lucky Boys coming up next. They scored a 28. I'd have say they were happy with that on their
Yeah, I would
previous
have
round.
done. Yeah.
That's putting them up in a level with some other really good teams.
Yeah. They've definitely improved as a team since the last time, but I've seen them in different teams, so I'm not sure whether it's my memory playing with different lineups, but they're really strong. Their scoring has been pretty good.
Similar team from last year. I'll have a look. Yeah, they've been together for a year and a half, but as you say, they were on different teams. And you know what? They were on separate teams at the same time, I think.
That's it. That's why I'm getting
yeah.
confused. Is it a Hungarian team called Alcaran or Alcazan?
No, that's a Spanish team.
Spanish team.
Alacran,
yeah.
They're not here this year. Shame not to. Wow, these guys are really trying to take advantage of that random sprint.
They are. Really, they're doing a good job.
Really tight as well. They're actually going to score very well on this round, as long as there's no bust. Haven't seen any bust, Ray.
No.
Haven't looked at the whole round, looking at some of the details. But really capitalising on the APH section of the skydive. Maybe a little bit of momentum on the 21s. Could have done with calming that down a little bit.
So one more score in for round 4. 4 from SDC Rhythm.
Nice one.
This is really good to
SDC
see.
Rhythm, just to be clear there, they scored 44 on round 4.
All the 4s. Next in the tunnel, out of the blue, who's getting stronger as the competition progresses.
Yeah, finding their feet, I think, a
Definitely.
little bit here. So most teams are taking this virtually intact, or by the time the last person is coming through the door, they're intact. Nice quick start from out of the blue. Looking like they're not even using the first page as a warm-up, they're just going. Just using the energy from block 21 and just kind of keeping it up there and ratcheting it up right from the gate.
I'm really liking the way that, I mean, they scored 31 on round 4, and that was a good round for them. Just a glitch there, but...
we've seen a couple of point flyers struggle up against the glass, and it's actually detracted from the random sequence. Big glitch there, just out of time, fortunately. I'm about 30.0 something, but no one cares about that. It's what you do in those 35 seconds from the first person's foot leaving the door.
They should be pleased with that. It's a nice round from out of the blue.
Yeah, so out of the blue, being coached by Dennis, they are the national team, the World Cup Indoor in Charleroi, and then they're also taking their game outdoors to Siberia, where a lot of these teams are going at the end of the year.
No, yeah, it's exciting.
You coming, Ray?
Well, you know, if I can find my way out there, I might get a train ticket and just go across and watch it, because I've never been to that part of the world.
Who has? I'm really glad that we get the opportunity to go to
Exactly,
Talent.
yeah.
Okay, Papaya now, Spanish military team. Local lads, you could say. 2 new team members, the 2 Oscar squared, coming into the team, not slowing them down too much. Obviously, it's a different pace from the Papaya that we saw last year. That's how they earned their position in the rankings for the draw. Struggling a little bit on keeping the H's small for the tail flyer. Let's see how they do on this page. A little bit better. And a pretty straightforward block technique, as you would expect from the 21.
It's not a bad projected score for Papaya. 28.
Again, keeping them in that pack.
Yeah.
We are going to have some amazingly tight battles. What we'll do at the end of round 5 is we'll have a chance to kind of study the field a little bit. Well, I will. You're going to be focusing on your two-way dynamic.
I'm going to be eating lunch first, and then I'll focus on the two-way dynamic.
Yeah. And Oceanside Atomics. Let's see if they can find their feet. They're looking all right, but they're looking asynchronous. They're looking like the new team, kind of slightly different lineup, having a little effect on their symmetry and synchronicity.
But you can see there's a lot of stuff that they're going to be able to build on. They'll watch this competition going backwards.
Yeah. Nice start for the guys in black and green. Really enjoying that helmet colour. For some reason.
Green's not your favourite colour at all, is it, Pete?
Not at all.
This is nice.
Super deep on the 21s, a little bit of a glitch there from the 21 to A and a wide H coming afterwards as well.
Yeah.
They picked it up, tightened it up on the subsequent page. That's the thing, with so many pages coming, you can actually learn from mistakes from the first couple of pages and turn it into an advantage at the end.
Yes, very much so. We're seeing that, so a 28 projected score. Yeah, they're still going. I mean, they found their rhythm later on in the dive, I think, to a certain extent.
Yeah, definitely a slightly slower start. Alrighty, now the next team, Windoor Unicorns. Always going to be excited to watch these guys, especially after watching them on their last round. Was that 42?
That was 42. I mean, that was an exceptional round for the Windoor Unicorns.
Alessandra's amazing. She has committed so much time and money to get to where she is, flying with some of the best flyers in the world. She's no slouch. No. She is pulling her weight. She's pulling 25% of her weight on this team, if not more. Very nice.
Nice start.
It's like they're realizing that they need to have kind of real good synchronicity and finish of the 21. You know, you can't have lots of energy and expect to capitalize on that random sprint. Something that we saw Lucky Boys, they had a lot of energy at the end of their 21. These guys are looking for as little energy as possible on the close of this block as we're seeing right now, so they can blast through A, P, and H.
This is really nice work.
Really nice to see, actually.
Small little few glitches here and there on the random sequence, but just really nice to see. Oh, super
Beautiful.
score.
So Windoor Unicorns becoming a favourite team for us here on the commentary desk. Really good to watch. It's great how year in, year out the team changes, you know. Obviously there's going to be team member changes, but also like you can just watching the teams the way they're flying with that amount of training or not, you're seeing a very different style.
Yeah. And some of the scores are coming through, so I've got a bit of a smile on my face, although you can't actually see it. But IFS Moscow, they scored 45.
Nice.
And we saw
like
it, we watched it, and I was like, yes. And I love watching them come back, and it's great to see. Like it does, it feels like, you know, slow, mechanical, you can really see it, and then they put a score of 45 on the board.
That is amazing. And you know me, you know the way I like to fly and the way I like to coach is I want efficiency when I'm flying.
Exactly.
And to see that come out here live is
brilliant.
a real good justification of watching the way that, you know, certain, you know, smooth flying teams. And even the Unicorns on that last round, that's a team and that's a style that quite often will go over the line. They kept it on the line, they kept it together.
Amazing.
Right now we're watching ISR Fireflash doing some amazing things. Another team from Belgium here. There's a great tradition of Belgian FS. Really good to see these guys pulling their weight.
This is Team Echo Chamber.
Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake. It was
right.
the orange. Thank you, Ray. That was Team Echo Chamber, who are going to be followed by ISR Fireflash.
You're not getting a present from Echo Chamber.
No, I realise that right now.
But next in we have Team ISR Fireflash. And these guys are having a really good quiet just below those top podium positions. You know, improving every round, having consistent rounds coming up as well. They scored 39 on round 4.
39, very nice indeed. Super deep start on their 21s. Yep, a lot of orange and black managing to confuse me, but these guys are obviously showing a slightly different flying style as well from Echo Chamber. Still tight, real tight, taking advantage of the sprint as we're expecting from every team in this round.
I think Echo Chamber in the past have got a little bit of unnecessary commentary flack, I guess you can, for me, from the busyness of their orange grips.
Previously.
Yeah, I think it just, to me, it was always very busy. But now I'm seeing it less. I'm being a little bit less judgmental.
Yeah, so are they different jumpsuits or is it the same suit? We're just not noticing.
It's the same suit, but I notice it less now.
Gotcha. So we've actually got used to it.
Yeah.
Because I do remember that from last year. Yeah, absolutely correct.
31.
Those guys will be happy with that. I saw Fireflash. I see a bit of a shaking head there. And Team SDC Rhythm.
Oh, this should be good.
Andrew looking ready to go.
They do look quite relaxed, which
They
is
do actually. And Doug, who as we know came back from an intense injury,
amazing.
Very quickly got back into the team and at a very high level of flying. Super impressive to see. Let's see how these guys go. Okay, 21 out and firing straight away. Efficient, very efficient from the 21 to the A. That's going to be the thing, hooking up outside center to the tail at the same time as the front are getting on the A.
Yeah.
Looking good. Amazing how small they're keeping that A actually.
Exactly. I mean, there's some big guys in there. It's like, you know, not like,
They're actually making it look small.
Exactly.
Good Drew running that from the inside. It's impressive as hell.
Sorry for you listening at home, everybody listening at home, we're just like holding our breath, just watching. That's just amazing to see.
Damn. Yeah, so when we're quiet, that's a chance for you to sit and watch and enjoy.
Exactly.
What that means is that those guys are out of breath after that. They did a great job of keeping the 21s consistent and then kept everything small for that random page. Probably the smallest random page that we've seen, especially with how small the point was on the
exactly.
A.
Let's have a look at IFS Moscow. Oh, super excited.
Yeah, so can they keep this this theme of efficiency and flow, can they keep that working through all of these slightly faster randoms? Nice steady start. Looks the same, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing the same style of skydiving, which is, as we know, it's a way to win on the long game.
Exactly.
Prior, we've seen the Russian teams do really well and then have a massive glitch. If a team is flying like this, there's a lot less chance that that's going to happen.
I hate to say it, they're not flying like the Russians. It's like it's great to see them, and we've seen this more recently.
Exactly. I saw Andy coaching them here about a month or so, and you can see a little bit of an effect coming from there. These guys are all amazing flyers in their own right. They can probably do without a coach for most of it, but I'm looking and seeing that Andy has brought some real nice touches to this team. Good job, buddy.
Yeah. Projected score not as fast as STC, but you never know. We'll see what the final scores actually are on the board.
So that's the Russian team. They're going to go to the Indoor Cup Airspeed, Arizona Airspeed. 2 new team members. We got Chris and Joey joining the team this year. They've only been together for a very short period, right?
Yeah.
And do we have their scores for round 4?
We don't yet. I'm waiting. I'm keeping a beady eye on the screen just to see if hopefully their scores will come through soon.
See the point just drop onto that grip. There we go.
Oh, straight out fast.
Straight out and firing. You can start scoring as soon as that first person's foot has left the sill.
This is super fast.
Again, you're going to hear us hold our breath for a second as we watch this. Apologies if you're expecting commentary out there. Watch your screens, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy. Very tight.
It's very small. Keeping it really small, faster than we saw from STC Rhythm. But
okay, so you watch how tight they're spinning their 21 pieces. The integrity of the piece is incredible. We're keeping a 90-degree shape to it. Allowing that piece to be flown as small, as tight, and therefore as fast as possible. Again, not as tight as Rhythm on the projected, but still a good
I think that projected might have been a little bit out. I'm just we're thinking, you know, that's a whole like page.
Yeah. So
the Rhythm might have got out there, and it didn't look like that was what had actually happened. So we'll see.
Okay, Hayabusa coming up. They got some work to do.
Yeah, which is good, right?
It's awesome. Very technical second half to the draw, which we may talk about at the end of this, but right now let's focus on the Belgian national team, the current world champions, fly 21 APH.
I mean, they had a glitch on round 4.
Oh yeah.
Right at the beginning, the first 30 rounds, first page, but they brought it back, right?
Yeah, looking a little bit faster on some sequences. Again, slightly smaller flyers as well, which are quite different. We've got to be careful about what we're seeing and what the actual final scores are. Not as fast.
Yeah, I think it could be also a question of projected scoring on this. With the faster rounds, it's sometimes hard when you're hitting that button to miss a few points.
Yeah, so let's not get lost in that projected score. That's what you're saying right now.
Well, we've seen 5 rounds of the VFS and the formation skydiving as well. And sorry about that, we just got somebody walking through the picture.
Invading.
So we've had the 5 rounds of the action so far. We're back in a minute after a break. We'll just take a little break.
What the fuck? It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good.